Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City of Kingston joint meeting of the Heritage Area Commission and the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission. Today is Thursday, May 4th, and my name is Suzanne Cahill. I'm the Planning Director. Welcome to City Hall. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you would all please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, just before we begin, a couple of housekeeping notes. I'm going to ask if you do have cell phones to please silence them. And next, if you do need to use a restroom, they are out the doors to our right. Men's is to the front, women's to the back of the building. If there is an emergency, please do not use the elevator. Please take the stairs. If you need assistance, please ask us and we will help you. We appreciate that. If there are conversations that you need to have, we ask that you take them outside of the council chambers. There is a conference room over to my left that is vacant this evening, I believe, so use that. I think the one to our right is busy right now. So that is all I have. With that, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mark Grumblatt, who is the chair of the HLPC at 6:34 p.m.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Grunblatt. I chair Historic Landmark Preservation Commission. I'd ask that members of the commission introduce themselves to the audience one by one. Can we start with you, Andrea?
Andrea Putz, architect of the commission.
Robert Tonner, Commissioner.
Kevin McAvoy, Commissioner.
Eddie Morano, Commissioner.
Thank you kindly. Our first order of business is last month's minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review them? Are there any amendments or changes that a member would like to see made? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second, Andrea.
Thank you. I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Over to you, Bonnie.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Howland. I'm the chairman of the Heritage Area Commission, and same thing, if I could ask the other members of the commission to please introduce themselves. Start with you.
Mike Del Priori, Commissioner.
Janet Marr, Commissioner.
Eddie Morano, Commissioner.
Kevin McAvoy, Commissioner.
Great. Have you all had a chance to review the minutes from last month's meeting? Any amendments or questions or anything on them? Do I hear a motion to approve the meetings as presented, or the meeting minutes, excuse me, as presented?
So,
Eddie Morano.
Do I hear a second?
second, Mike.
Call the roll to approve those. Michael?
Yeah, aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye.
Just one note too, I just also want to, other than myself as staff to the planning, we have Kyla D-Day, the assistant planner, Ethan Dickerman, who is our historic preservation administrator, and we do have our assistant corporation counsel, Matt Jankowski, with us this evening.
All right. First order of business, item 2, 106 122 Green Street. Is anyone here on that application? Great. Please have a seat. Because I have an interest in an adjoining parcel, I'm recused from this. So I'm going to sit out in the audience.
Okay. With Mark's recusal, Kevin McAvoy will serve as acting chairperson of the HLPC on this discussion. And this is a joint discussion with the Heritage Commission as well.
Would you like to present an updated version of the project?
Okay. Yeah, can you just introduce yourselves when you for the record, please. Thank you.
Selena Gindel, I'm the regent of the Wiltwyck chapter of DAR.
Karen Davis, I am the treasurer for the Wiltwyck chapter and the house manager.
We are here to get approval to replace the windows in our house at that location with historically accurate replacement windows. We have a sample here for you to look at. It's wood construction and will be painted white, exactly the same white as you see in the photos of the existing home.
Selena, is that one of the windows that would get actually installed at this location? Okay.
That's correct. We have purchased these windows already and have them in our possession.
Okay. Okay.
I think these are the windows by the bathroom and the utility room on the Green Street side. Up,
Okay,
on the top.
yep. He's got the
That's where
picture
it's set
behind
up.
you. That's why I'm looking kind of behind you. Yeah, he's got the picture up on the screen behind you. Okay. Okay.
Just when you say are the windows purchased for every single opening in the building?
Yes, they are. We have done numerous projects since we've owned this property and just gone ahead and done them, such as gutter replacement, roof repair, and various items. And this is the first time we were informed, after we had ordered the windows too, by Ms. Cahill, that we needed to come before these commissions.
When, do you remember when did you purchase them?
March of 2022, I believe.
We did go through the guidelines for preservation before we did anything. And in there it states if we put wood in that's exactly the same as what we're taking out, there shouldn't have been a problem. We didn't need to do anything else. That's why we went ahead and bought the windows in the first place, was because we used that as our, this is what
Reference.
you need to do. Because that's what it says. This is what you need to do.
All of the windows we have purchased are exactly the same number of panes in both the top and bottom halves, as well as the wood construction and all that.
If you were to replace the windows, do you have any plans for the windows that get removed? Like, could they be kept or used as a display or something?
Weren't sure what we were going to do.
We haven't made any plans for them yet.
Okay,
There's
just a curious
been
question.
different things that we've talked about, seeing if we could sell some of them, if they were, because people like to have the glass, which was changed in the, well, most of the windows in the front of the house and most of the windows on the side of the house, all of the glass in those windows has been changed over the past 15 years. And I know that because being House and Grounds manager, I have to sign off on all of that. And so I know that they've all been changed because they were broken or they were starting to fall out again. We're constantly replacing all the time. So I know, and none of the windows are older than the early 1900s. That was the last time, like, a few of the smaller windows were put in.
Do you have that documentation?
Just that, the only thing that we have is that in some of our trustees' meetings, it says that when Mr. Teller, the architect, took over to redo our house, that doors were changed, like our front door. That wasn't the front door, any of it with the window panels. That was not part of the house originally. That was all changed because he thought it looked aesthetically nice. And the staircase was changed. All the windows were changed. I'm trying to think what else he said was changed. Some of the floorings were changed. Not only that, but, you know, the house was burnt by the British, so the original windows, of course, were changed at that point, you know, so.
I think it's also important to note that Mr. Teller was involved in the renovation of the project, but he was an architect at that point. He was not a trained person to actually perform the work of manufacturing any of the items that were installed at the time.
You know, we have receipts from bills.
Laborers,
to- yeah,
electricians, and
carpenters, plumbers, people like that.
I know I had sent you a copy of a report that we did internally just to kind of demonstrate what we had initially, what the commissions were looking for in terms of a conditions assessment. What are your thoughts? I'm presuming you read that. What are your thoughts on that? Okay.
I have not read it because I'm not in, we are past the point of restoring, we're into replacing.
Well, this is.
You need to keep your mics on if you're talking. I'm sorry.
This is Mr. Davis. He is the person who will be doing all of the work.
Okay. You want to just hand him a mic and he can introduce himself and.
My name's Harley Davis.
You can sit or if you.
I don't know, it's kind of big. I don't know if I can.
My name's Harley Davis. I own H&J Farm Contracting, and I'm doing the window replacement for them.
Okay. You've read the report that we sent along?
I called him this morning and told him what was in it,
Okay.
but he hasn't read the whole thing.
Okay. Okay. I was just curious what your thoughts were about that. But if you haven't read it, yeah.
So about 6 of the windows can be saved. Beyond that, they're too far gone to reglaze, redo, the amount that it would cost to actually rebuild them proper. And the other big issue is these are double pane. That is the only difference in these windows from the current windows. The current windows are single pane. The amount of heat loss out of a single pane is so ecologically horrible that's part of it as well, of doing better insulation and everything like that. But the windows on the inside, none of them open. They're swelled, and they haven't been operational in a long time, and most of them are rotten, especially around the sills, everything like that. So
You said 6 of the windows would be potentially capable of being restored. Are they all on one side of the building, or are they just scattered around? Would you be able to identify them for us?
if I was standing in front of the windows, yes.
Okay.
I'd literally have to stand in front of them, and not from the outside, from the inside.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
poked every single window in multiple places, because I also do lead abatement, so I have to make sure that, with the lead tests, what everything shows and all that.
Is there lead? So there is definitely lead paint on all of them and in the glazing? Okay. All right. Kevin?
Do we have any other further questions from commissioners?
I can open it if it's needed. I prefer to keep it wrapped because it's the best way to I have them all in storage.
Yeah, no, I don't think you need to open it.
If you want to take a look, you can see every single thing is wood. You can.
Yeah.
What we use is a paint match gun. So it's an x-ray gun. We scrape off the top layer of paint and expose what the actual paint should be. And then it x-rays it and gives us the exact code. So when we paint them, they'll be the exact code, because not all the rooms are painted the same on the inside. So the outsides will all be the same, but the inside will be a couple different paint colors. So that'll all be correct.
Okay.
I was going to ask if you had received a letter from the SHPO from about a year ago, it was last May. Did you get a copy of that?
That was the letter, it was discussed at the last meeting that you were at before we,
did
yeah, it
not
was the letter from SHPO.
The one that you had read aloud at the one meeting?
Right, where
We
it
did not receive
recommended
a copy of that.
yeah,
Should I read portions of it?
sure.
Okay.
I mean, it is up on the screen.
Let's just cut to the chase for time here. Okay, the last two paragraphs I'll read. Or three paragraphs. If the conditions assessment recommends replacement, which is what it sounds like you're doing, right? A sample of the proposed replacement product, okay, we got that there. The Marvin Ultimate Wood Double Hung Insert, as indicated in the application, should be submitted to the HLPC to determine whether it is an appropriate match. OPRHP, that's the state, typically recommends a true divided light sash. Additionally, we recommend a set of dimension drawings of the existing. A side-by-side comparison of historic and new will also aid in HLPC's assessment. The owner may consider applying for a grant. The Environmental Protection Fund, EPF, grant funding is available to improve, protect, preserve, rehabilitate, restore, or acquire properties listed on the national and state registers of historic places. Funds are available to municipalities or not-for-profits with an ownership interest when you're nonprofit, so you will be eligible. Grants can fund up to 50% of the total eligible cost. Up to 75% of the project is up to 75% of the project if it's located in a high poverty area. I think we'd have to check the census tract on that. I'm not sure about that. Grant awards are capped at $500,000. More information can be found at the state website for the parks. While we are sympathetic to the property owner's situation, as we understand the custom replacement windows were already purchased, the owner stated in the application materials and during the joint meetings, this would have been the meetings a year ago, that they researched the windows for 2 years. Within those 2 years, there was no communication with the city regarding HLPC approval for window replacement. I think you already discussed that. The owner also indicated at the joint meeting that the cost to repair was the same as the replacement. We understand there was a misinterpretation of what requires HLPC review. Proposed replacement of historic windows is never considered a replacement in kind project, even if it is wood with wood. Not only are historic windows extremely important for a building's architectural integrity, many were also made to be repaired. Most can be retrofitted to be more weather-tight rather easily, resulting in a better return on investment and a greener approach rather than buying new windows. A modern replacement window will never be exactly the same as a historic window. And again, I'll ask if anybody has any further comments.
I
from
do.
any of the commissioners.
I would like a definition of what is called a historic window, especially with regards to this property.
It has more to do with period of significance, and I think you've mentioned, or one of the two of you mentioned, that it had to do, that some of the windows, or most of the windows, were around 1900s or so.
That's when we bought the house
Mm-hmm.
in 1907. And the year after that, Mr. Teller became the architect, and through the next couple of years, the house was totally redone because it was ready to be demolished when we bought it.
So some of the guidance that the National Park Service has given us is that whenever a structure in and of itself is older than 50 years from the current date, that's usually when you can say, okay, this is of a historic significance. Being as the windows are from the 1900s, we're very much over the 50-year period. So with that being said, that's sort of our guidance on this issue. Go ahead. No, go ahead, please.
We also take into account that over the past 15 years, we've taken those panes out and put in new pieces of glass on probably at least half of the windows. The windows upstairs in the library are, I don't know how to explain it. We had a backup on the roof, and it caused all the water to come into the library, and it destroyed every window on the whole back of the house. They are so warped that when you look at them, they're like this. And all of those panes were replaced because they were all broken. We went in one day and there was icicles hanging from the ceiling. It was horrendous. I was in tears, and we had to have all of those replaced, which, that was a nice expense, but, was something that had to be done. And then we had the roof repaired. We had to have the whole back of the roof taken off. See, that's the part that we don't understand, I think. We've had the back of our roof repaired, so we had scaffolding put up. No one said a word. And this is all over the past, let's say 20 years. No one said anything. We had new gutters and soffits put in. We had to have lead abatement done then. So we had tenting and scaffolding then. No one said anything. Then we had sidewalks pulled up for various reasons. One, people wrote disgusting things on some of the sidewalk things, so we had to have those replaced at our expense. And we went ahead, and there was a tree that had pushed itself below, I think it was like 4 pieces of blue stone, and we had to have a company come in, move the slates, take the tree out, they ground it all down and everything, and then new pieces put in because, of course, some of it got broken. Luckily, my husband and his brother own a bluestone quarry, so it helped us out a lot. We've had new fencing put up. No one said a word. We had the little building off the side of the Crown Street side that goes into our basement. It used to be where the coal was dropped off. That has been fixed and the roof replaced. No one said a word. We had 3 trees within the yard itself. A cherry picker actually pulled into the yard and cut those trees down. No one said a word. So we checked with the national, we checked with the state, and we are not on either registry. So we thought, okay, we looked at the guidelines. The guidelines told us if we're doing kind with kind, we didn't need to apply. So that's why we went ahead and did what we did. It wasn't like we were trying to go behind anybody's back or anything to do anything. We just were under the assumption that it was okay to do it because we'd done all these other things and no one had ever said anything. So I wanted to get that out there so that so you guys understand where we're coming from. It wasn't like we just said, okay, well, we don't care what you think. We're just going to go ahead and do this. That never even entered my mind. And I don't think it entered anyone else's mind because we had meeting upon meeting upon meeting before we ever did anything. So.
Meeting of our organization.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Marvin I have the thing, I don't know. You mentioned something.
That was supplied.
Yeah, we had given copies of this, and the one window that's in here is this window right here, and you can see that it's exactly the same window.
Gives all the dimensions.
Yeah, it gives all, I don't know if everybody saw this. If not, I can pass it around. You can look at it if you want.
The energy ratings and everything.
Yeah, it's got my writing all over it, don't.
There's actually 6 different
That's all
style
right.
windows in the house of varying sizes, which created problems.
So part of what this letter also addresses is what Kevin read before, which was the in-kind replacement. I know it sounds like wood to wood is a direct replacement, but to be a little bit more granular on that, specific dimensioning on things like the Muntin patterns, the OG patterning around every little piece, those are things that they look at. And you've just said that there's a whole bunch of different window types, but are all of them identical in every single dimension?
Every single dimension.
Some of those things would have been really nice to have seen as documentation, which is something that I think we've asked for a few times.
Right.
That's why I sent a copy of that to Susan.
Those are the proposed windows, but we were looking for
That's
something
in
of
our-
the
that's
existing as well.
online.
To see that, I believe that's part of what we had discussed at a former meeting. Maybe that wasn't made clear.
No, it wasn't, because if it had been, I would have called him and said, please write this down or come in and explain it. I apologize. That, I didn't understand understand exactly what you want.
I'm fairly certain that that was something that was discussed. We had,
It could have been, and I just misunderstood what you meant. Because in my mind, I'm thinking wood, so we had to replace it with wood, and I didn't understand everything that you said.
so my position is that you've expressed that there are 6 windows potentially that could be saved. And that's something that I think our commission is very interested, at least from me, I would be interested in hearing other commissioners as well. But I would be interested in seeing those 6 at least saved and then conceivably moving forward with the others. But I don't know how anyone else feels about that.
I do want to ask a question. So you're not a window replacement, well, you're a window replacement expert, but you're not a restoration expert.
I work on houses that range from the 1700s up to current houses.
Yeah, and I'm sure.
I don't have a degree in historical restoration, but I've been doing it a long time.
Okay, I'm sure,
Many stone
I'm sure you're
houses.
really good, too.
That's why I work on a bunch of stone
Yes,
houses.
yes, yes. But, my point is that from what I remember is that we asked you to contact somebody who was a restoration expert.
We did.
You did, okay.
We did, and the last time we submitted it, Ms. Cahill said he was rejected.
But you were also given other names, is that right? There were other names, yeah. See,
This
you
is
know
someone
what,
we came up with ourselves because most of the others were out of town.
Right.
Did you reach out to any of the names? I think we gave you, we gave you Emily Major, and I think there was another one, I can't remember it off the top of my head. It was a gentleman that I gave you out of Albany area.
I did not talk to him, and the one woman, what starts with an M, her first.
Emily Major.
No, her first name starts with an M.
Marissa?
Yeah, Marissa or
Marissa
something.
Marvelli.
Yeah, she's the one who wrote the letter saying that, that according to her, the house was poor and we couldn't do this with windows, and so it was like, I'm not even going to go there. The gentleman, I don't know if you've seen his resume. Yeah, Mr. Cruz's resume. He's worked with Emily Majors on probably, you got it?
That was supplied in the
Yeah, on probably
I saw
10
that.
different
I saw that.
things, so,
Stephen
we
Willem
figured,
Cruz, right?
and
Yeah.
he's working on 2 places right now, because I called him yesterday, and he's working on 2 stone houses from the 1700s right now.
If I may interject for a moment, having reviewed Mr. Cruz's resume and noticing that there were a few projects where he referenced working with Emily Major of White Clay Hill Preservation located in Tivoli, I reached out to her, and she is familiar with his work and has worked with him, but did note that he's primarily a painter and not a window restorationist. And she noted that a majority of those referenced tend to work with more modern windows rather than, restoring the fabric of historic windows, whether they be 50 years or prior.
I went on his Facebook page, and there's probably 10 houses from the 1700s to 1800s that he has worked on with pictures of them. So, we take a look. He worked on those. He also was a window, went and took, I don't know how long the classes were, through Marvin windows on, well, whatever they are. Just for that kind of thing, for windows, so that he would know what he was doing when he was out and about working on other people's houses.
I'll ask the commissioners again if we would, if we have any further comment, and if not,
I feel like we're here again. I understand that you bought the windows. I understand that you didn't know that you had to do this, all of the, because I feel like this is a redundant, we've had the same conversation. What we've asked from between the last meeting and now was thorough evidence that you put every effort into looking into restoring and documenting all of that. And it still doesn't feel like we have a fulfilled response so that we have every T crossed and every I dotted so that we can, as a group, go, yep, they've done this, okay, cool, let's approve the windows. I still feel like you're, respectfully, you're like, we bought them, this is what we're doing, versus going, here's every single document that you've asked before, we have record of all of it, and then we can, as a group, successfully, on our morals too, sit here and go, yes, we have every single thing we need to be able to look around at each other and not hesitate for a moment and go, we have covered all our bases, because I respectfully, you want us to say, yes, go. And I don't feel like and I don't want to speak for everyone, I speak for myself. I've been on every meeting, I've been on every conversation, whether it's Zoom, and now it's nice to meet you in person, but I still don't feel like the project manager and me is saying every single piece of paper that we need on record, even from now moving forward, that we have a complete, full, everything has been answered, all the questions, okay, yes, we can say, you spent your money, you can now put those windows in. That's my opinion. It's like, I want every single thing that we asked for, and I don't feel that that was given. I want to be able to say yes, and say, yes, I understand that you bought the windows for all of the reasons that you said, but there was homework that I don't feel was complete between that then and now, and I don't feel like I can say, I want to, but making phone calls with people and doing the things and literally documenting it. He gave an example of how thorough someone on our team was to go and even stand and take photographs, like down to the peeling paint. I would say, by golly, I want my windows. We bought these windows. Here's every single thing we could possibly do so that you have every single answer you could ask for before you even asked me for it, so that we can put the windows in that we bought. And I don't feel that we're still in that place, unfortunately.
And I'd agree with her. And, with the SHPO letter and, the directions, we have to feel like, I mean, I'm speaking just for me, but I have to feel like that, 100% sure that all the options have been looked at, and I don't feel like they have been.
I have a question for the committee. You guys, Stockade District, Historic District, you guys okay all the windows in that district to make sure doors, not just windows, but everything, correct? So why are there vinyl clad windows in the Stockade District? Because there are several all over the place. And right next door in a historical building, anything, if you want to go 50 years old, which 50 years old is ridiculous because, I mean, if something was built in 1950, it's not historical relevance, even though I understand where they're coming from. But I'm the contractor. I have no skin in this at all. I just purchased the windows for them. I'll do the work if they get approved. But what I don't understand is how they actually spent the money to get the proper windows, spent the time to make sure everything was done properly. Meanwhile, you have vinyl clad windows and stone houses right next door. There's other things that go on throughout that Stockade District that are nowhere near authentic to what it was. And I'm just curious, you guys, maybe you missed them, maybe they didn't come up for approval, maybe nobody saw them, but from my standpoint, I see what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish, making a much safer environment, because right now with windows that don't open, it's a hazard. The amount of money they put into heat, because it's a stone house. They're single pane windows. There's no way in our value on a single pane window can touch a double pane window. There's no way to seal that any tighter than what it already is. So
Respectfully, that should be documented by somebody that went in and said it. And I so much respect for what you're saying, but there's also a world where you can go and take a picture of someone and say, look, I have documentation. There's a lot to be said for what we can.
You have that information in all those window specifications. It has the energy values and everything right there with all the dimensions.
But that's what we've asked for, repeatedly asked for. So I was hopeful that seeing you guys tonight, you would be able to present that aside from what we have here, and we still don't have it. And again, I hear
I will
you.
get that to you because now that I know it.
Now you understand?
I was unaware of that. I will actually go back to the house.
I would also like to see the detail on the 6 windows that you believe are restorable, because I agree with what Andrea said. That might be something, a way to come to, an ultimate compromise.
And to further that, you can install interior storm windows. Have you done those before?
Yes, but that wouldn't be period.
It's interior. Our purview is only exterior. That's, if you're concerned about energy efficiency for those 6 existing windows, you can have that with an interior storm window. And it will also help with sound as well, just for reference.
Can I just say, I have to apologize to you, because all this time I've been thinking you wanted on the windows that we purchased, and I didn't understand what it was exactly that you were asking for, so that is on me, and I apologize, you know. 'cause-
Don't have to apologize.
It's not necessary. It's just, we want to be able to say yes.
Because
No,
I
no.
was thinking
Don't
it
feel
was
stupid,
these
please.
windows.
Please don't.
That's
It's,
why that's why I constantly was, okay, this, and that's why I kept saying that, was because that's what I thought you were
and I
discussing.
understand from the bottom of my heart, you passionately want to put in the windows that you spend all the money on. I get it.
No, that isn't even a part of where I'm coming from. I don't know how to explain it. I love this house. I don't think you do.
I do, because I've heard you guys talk every single meeting. This is why I'm like, I want to help you, help us, help you, help us.
This house is in my heart, and I love this house, and I would never do anything that would be harmful to this house, and I'm sorry, I just...
Don't you dare, stop.
You know, it's like, I'm just so tired of trying to, and everybody is constantly complaining to me because I'm the person that everybody complains to. And I get stuck with all of it, and it's day after day, and I just feel stupid that I didn't realize that that was what you wanted, because if I had, I would have given that to you. I would have called him and said, hey, this is what I need. But I didn't I was thinking this is what you wanted. That's why I kept pushing this. I'm
So,
sorry.
Please don't. So what do we do now? Like, how do we literally make black
I
and
have
white?
one more comment, if I may.
Sure.
Just to keep in mind, too, wood that the current windows are made from is a plant material, hence made from carbon. And as soon as you cut it, it starts decaying. And these have been decaying for over 100 years. That's all I want to point out.
I was thinking of a plan. Obviously, I think that both commissions will need to table a decision this evening. I would like to meet with Mr. Davis on site, probably bring Ethan along with me. Andrea, I would invite you as well as the architect on the commission. If there's another commission member, we all don't have to go, but if there's another commission member that would want to, I'd like to actually go to the site and look at the windows up front, very close, and see, and we can go through it with you and you ladies as well, and just kind of point things out, and then we can get the documentation that we need, and you can pull it together and submit that, and we'll come back next month and hopefully be able to come to a resolution. Okay. All right. We have your contact. Will we go through you, Karen, or, okay, to arrange, we'll figure out a time that's good. Any other commission members want to join?
I work from home now, so I'm local to Kingston.
Okay.
So
All
aside
right.
from
And Robert?
Thursdays.
Okay, so
yeah, I'd
Andrea,
love to-
Robert, and it wouldn't be, if I have the two of them and one of them, it would not be.
Yeah, I'm heritage area, and then they're the historic landmark,
Yep.
so. Thank you, yeah, got it.
We don't need open meetings law problems.
No, that'll throw another wrench
I just
into
want
it.
to ask this question one more time. And
Sure.
I'm sorry to do, and I don't mean to, I know you're good at what you do. But he's not an expert on restoration. So do we still need that? On historic restoration of windows, there are. Yeah, if that could happen, that would really, really help.
I'm just curious, what do you define as an expert?
We had a list of people who have, who work on windows.
College degree?
No, it goes much beyond that.
If your primary focus is historic preservation of X, then
Okay.
that is, yeah.
What I'm asking.
And it's the one woman I know, I think she's in Red Hook or somewhere. Anyway.
Emily is in Tivoli, Marissa is in Kingston. Yeah, but Marissa, I would agree. Marissa's already submitted a public comment on this project, so it might not be the
No, I
appropriate
wouldn't.
party.
And it's been so long.
Okay.
Emily Majors was right.
Emily.
And I spoke with her way back, even before we did anything with windows. And at the time, I think she was just too busy, and she said that she couldn't come out. So then we called Historic House Rights, Brian Kennedy, who is an expert, and he came in and he gave us a thing to restore, which ended up being more money than what we paid for the windows. So it was like, oh, geez. So that's why, because what we did was we had him come in and give us a write-up. We did to Marvin, and then we also did another one, but I don't remember which one it was, but they didn't make historical windows.
When he gave you the estimate to restore, did he give you a report with that? What did he give you? Just a number? Just a number?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, basically 99% of the windows needed to be redone, because, especially the ones in the library, and there was a couple other ones that he didn't name, but that was.
Okay. I was just curious what he gave you. Okay.
I would hope that he had, but he didn't, because I would have brought.
That would have
submitted
probably, yeah.
that. No. In fact, I'm trying to think. I know I have the bill somewhere, if you wanted.
If it's just a number, no. I
Yeah,
don't want to see
that
it,
was
no.
all it was, and it was close to 80,000 is what he quoted us.
Okay.
To redo all of the windows.
All right.
We had a hard enough time with this.
Well, I would ask you also to please bear in mind or be informed that our Wiltwick chapter is an individual chapter. We have 60 members, that's it, and we are a registered 501c3. So
We get no help.
we
from
get
anyone.
no funding assistance in any way.
I think that's
Other
why
than our
SHPO
membership.
mentioned the grant opportunities. 501c3s,
Well,
nonprofits
some
would
of it,
be,
a lot of them don't qualify us
Because we're not.
because the actual property is not registered with as a landmark.
I don't know
In
about
the
that.
district.
Protected by quite
You're
a
in the,
few.
yeah, you're in the district,
You're in
so
the national
you should
district.
not, that shouldn't
That shouldn't
be
be an issue.
any roadblock.
We've been trying to, we have a young member that does grants, and she's been sending out as many as she could, but a lot of them we got back saying that we didn't qualify because we weren't on the national or state registry. So, no, that's sort of like, yeah, I have those letters.
All right. Okay.
Do we want to entertain a motion to table this until next month?
I would. And then
Andrea Pugh, so
table and
moved.
schedule site visit.
And schedule a site visit.
Still moved.
And second, Robert.
We'll call the roll then. Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote in the affirmative. Aye.
AC table, yep.
So this is Bonnie. Do I hear a motion from the Heritage Area Commission to table the meeting for 1 month, and during that month to do a site visit of the property as discussed?
Mike?
Do I hear a second? That motion's on the floor. Any other comments? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Nettie? Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye.
May I please request a copy of that SHPO letter?
Do you want to just give her that one?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll email you tomorrow. We'll try and figure, or you want to call the office tomorrow? Okay, I'm in really early. Actually, why don't you give me your phone number?
Why, God, why? We're exactly in the same place we were a year ago.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh,
HAC. Got HLPC back?
I did.
Find Mark.
Find Mark.
Maybe Kyla went to get him.
Okay.
Oh, you too.
Well, thank you.
I thought it was Hayes that set them off. If he was pretty bad.
We're up to,
Ready?
yep.
Okay, so we're on, actually, these are HACs. Bonnie?
Oh, yes, cool, okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
So we're starting off with 1618
Yes,
Gill?
1618.
Do we have anyone present for 16-18 Gill Street? Come on over.
Yeah, that was a little arrogant.
Hi, if you could turn the mic on for yourself, introduce yourself, and give us a little bit of background on your project, please.
Hi, my name is Carolina Hart, and I'm here to request and ask for permission to change the color of the building and make a couple of changes. I have some printouts for you that I would like to hand out, unless you have already a copy in front of you.
And they're behind you, and they're in their notes, so we've got you covered.
So this is a building, it's a two-family building that we purchased last year. And it was supposed to be a quick renovation, and as it usually happens, twice as long, twice as much.
Yep.
And as you peel layers off, it's mice nests, dead animals, and other stuff that we found, so we ended up gutting the place. And the building has, right now, our main concern is the project was done by John Steinmeier in terms of the construction, and we want to add there's an addition in the back there was existing addition in the back and a side of the building that we renovated, and we wanted to add a similar mudroom on the other side. And that was this is an example of our mudroom in another building. This is how we want it to look like with the black sheet metal. And because it's visible, it's on the side of the building, it's visible from the street, I'm here to request a permission to add a similar addition to the building.
So you're actually going to lose some parking with that addition? It's coming off of the building, it looks like it's going into your
Yes.
current parking area?
The mudroom is only 5 feet wide by 11. This side of the building, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. There will still be 2 parking spots. The cars will have to park one behind the other, but you can go all the way to the back of the property and then park in front of the mudroom or on the side of the mudroom, but yes.
Okay, so this is a 2-family, you're going to just continue it as a 2-family rental?
It will be 2, correct. So it's 1618, one of the building, the one that's closer to the children playground is 18, and then 16 is where I'm asking for a permission to add a mudroom.
Okay.
Also, we already installed the little the little roofs over the entrances. There was a previous structure that was completely rotten and just fell apart and fell off the 3 steps while we were going in and out with the equipment. The look of the building will definitely change slightly from what it was before, but was complete ruin, and it's going to look a little bit more modern. The building of the corner that's next to this one is also my building. That's where I live. I purchased this building to rescue my property because we had issues with people who lived there before, and it was a disaster for the neighborhood, actually. We would like to change a color. We put up proposed colors that were already used by some buildings in uptown by the Senate House. Right now, this isn't a brick. What you're seeing, it's painted brick. It's a peeling of red paint. You can definitely see that underneath the roofs because there were attached wooden structures that were rotten. We removed them. So you can see that the rest was painted. And yes, the colors are listed. The door will be yellow. We also, on the second page, you can see how we imagine how we want this to look like. So there will be a railing added to the stairs, but right now we're not making any changes till we get any permission from you. Again,
Is that just a regular steel
railing.
railing?
Correct, black.
Yeah.
So the colors of the building will be dark, but they will match the renovation, the building on the site. Also, someone purchased the building on the other side of the playground. That's the next property to this one. And they kept those colors as well. It's black and white. So I think at this point, a half a block will be restored, which is pretty amazing for the street and the neighborhood, actually.
Does anyone on the Heritage Area Commission have any questions for the applicant or comments?
Seems to look good.
I like it.
And the colors are matching or close to your house at 263?
263 is a brick that's not painted, so we kept the brick color of the brick. It's on the corner.
Right.
There's black fence around it. There's that black sheet metal
That's what I was
mudroom.
picking
Yes.
up on, yeah, okay.
So this will not stay red. The color we picked is Wackle green. On the picture, we painted some samples. It's very dark green. To give you an example, and not to take a credit, we got the idea from the restaurant Uptown, Chloe, that you think the building is black, but when you actually stand in front of it, you see it's green, and it's a beautiful green. And we were like, wow, this actually works for this style.
Yeah.
Everyone's nodding. Anyone have any questions or comments? No?
No, that was it.
Do I hear a motion to accept this as a type 2 action under seeker?
Motion, Kevin?
Do I hear a second?
Janet Mars, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Nettie? Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the repainting and the addition of the railing and the porch removal and the addition of the side room to 1618 Gill Street as presented?
So move, Mike.
Do I hear a second?
Janet Mars, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any questions or comments on that one? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye.
You're welcome.
Next one is number 4, number 206 West Chestnut Street. Hi. If you could push the button, make your mic green, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about your project.
My name is Stuart Dyke. My wife and I bought the property about 2 years ago, and the garage,
It's getting there.
Oh, it's getting, okay.
It's
You'll see it, but
He's ready. He's like,
Yeah.
we do have it in our packets in front of us too. While you're, we can see.
The shingles were done extremely poorly before, so the garage is incredibly leaky, so we wanted to change out the shingles and we wanted to upgrade to a metal roof. Forgive all of my terrible photoshopping that you'll see, but that's how it looks now. There's a tarp there to sort of cover up some of the leaks on the right side. But ideally, we want to just change the shingling to a metal standing seam green shingle or panel. Which
Yeah.
The garage seems to have been built much later than the house. I think the house, don't know exactly when it was built. It seems like the early 1900s. But this is the inspiration. So this is a house on James Street in Uptown. So we'd want to match that. We wouldn't match the doors like that because we wanted to keep some window panes in the doors. The doors eventually we want to replace, but we don't have the budget for that to do it within the next year or two.
So your intent right now is to paint your doors now but I know your proposal had replacing those doors with glass, and my curiosity led me to the question, is the intent to keep it as a garage or to convert it to a different use?
We would still, so it's a 3-bay garage now. We'd like to have 2 of the doors be still used have roll-up glass doors and use it as a garage. And then we want to close off the right side and use that for extra storage.
Okay.
Basically, but it hasn't been used as a garage properly in a long time because it's been leaking and there's been.
Okay. Because you mentioned in there that it would be full glass, so I'm
Oh
thinking.
yeah, full glass on the 2. Just I don't know. My wife just likes how it looks.
Okay. Okay.
It's the honeydew checklist right there.
So I don't have any mock-ups of that because that was sort of so far down the road since we had a quote from Darmstadt when we moved in, and each door was going to cost like $5,000 or $6,000, probably more now. So we don't have the budget for that. So
Okay.
right now it would be painting.
So our recommendation at staff is to not authorize that work at this point in time, and when they're ready to do that, to come back with the actual information on what the door replacements are going to look like.
Okay.
But the
Now
other
it's-
stuff is fine.
Now it's just the roof, and that was the visual picture that you had with the green doors prior. That's your intent for this
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
And then just repainting and kind of cleaning up what's there.
Yes.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from the group? This is a type 2. Do I hear,
Sort of a mock-up from the ABC.
I think it's pretty, the other picture showing the comparison with the other one with the green metal roof is perfect.
Okay, cool.
Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commission member to approve this as a type 2 action under seeker?
So moved, Kevin.
Do I hear a second?
Toronto, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any questions, comments on that one? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the replacement of the roof and the updating of the painting in kind as presented tonight on 206 West Chestnut Street?
So move, Mike.
Do I hear a second?
Toronto, second.
That motion's on the floor. All good on that one? Hearing no other comments, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Nettie? Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next is, number 5 is number 28 Hudson Street. Hello, hello. I left the mic on for you, so if you could introduce yourself and give a little bit of background on your project, please.
My name is Patricia. I'm representing Sunrun. We're looking to install 7 panels, roof-mounted solar on the back of this house.
Patricia, can you give me your last name, please?
Colella, Colella.
Thank you.
And they're going to be black on black.
Are they gonna, there's not a picture of, are they gonna cover the, oh, where'd it go? Oh, got it, perfect.
I do have a larger rendering if you do need it, if that would be more convenient for you.
Yeah, do you mind?
No, of course not.
See that picture? Anyone else want to see? I realized I turned my pages and they were stuck together, so I have this right here. It's fabulous. I'm going to pass that down to you. Any questions or? I'm not. We got really loopy by the end of the last meeting. I don't know what happened. So I'm going to keep it. Are there any questions or comments on this one? This seems pretty straightforward. Do I hear a motion to approve this as a type 2 action under seeker?
Motion, Kevin?
Do I hear a second? That motion's on the floor. Any other comments, questions? No. Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the installation of the 7 roof mount panels on number 28 Hudson Street?
So move, Mike.
Do I hear a second?
Janet Morris, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any other questions on that? Comments? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye.
Solid.
Thank you. Can you turn that one off as you're walking? Thank you.
I'm like, wait a minute, what happened there? Okay. Thanks.
Next one, number 6 is number 10 Dietz Court. Hi. Same thing, if you could push the button, turn your light green, introduce yourselves, and tell us a little about your project, please.
Oh, it's on. Hi, my name is Sonia. I'm Sonia Wright, not Sonia Serkas. We're just representing the client.
Okay.
So, 10 Dietz Court, we sent this document. I didn't print anything.
It's coming up behind you too, so.
Okay, perfect. So,
Yep.
yeah. So it is off of West Chestnut and Melvin Drive, and we took some photos around the area, specifically on Wardson West, where a little bit of the right side of the house on the back can be seen. And then we went.
Just to interject, they have the one photo up on the screen that it shows where they took they're in the Rondout here, and this is on West Pierpont, I believe. Looking, it's the dead end portion towards Adams Street between Wirtz and Adams, and it's looking up at the hill, and you could just barely see the backside of the structure right now. It's visible, but
barely.
But it's barely,
right.
Yeah. So I was going too fast on my end. And then within the same document, there are photos of the front and the two sides and the rear of the house. And what the client is proposing, and we have worked with him in order to keep the front facade so it is in tune with the rest of the houses adjacent to it. And so we're not changing much. We are adding a porch at the front. We're adding a small addition to the southwest corner, and we are extending the garage on the northwest corner. So that is the proposed design. We are going to replace all the windows, and you can't really see what's the addition because the whole objective was to blend the addition with the existing brick. All the windows are going to be replaced, and the stone on the fireplace, it's intended to mimic on the side, the addition side, and also on the rear.
So the existing fireplace stone, I'm looking at the front, that's going to be refaced as well? Or,
That is,
because I know on the side, there's a whole, there, on the one side, you've got a lot of new stone.
yes.
Is the front going to be new stone too?
No, the objective is to
Okay.
just clean the stone and keep
All
it.
right.
Yeah, and then the side on the southwest corner, that is intended to be new stone, but, we're going to select it, and
Okay.
we have a representation, a photo we included within the package.
Right.
But we're going to select it as the time comes.
Okay. And there's a stone wall. I mean, there's a lot of landscaping that's going on with this project at the same time. So that stone wall is going to you're going to try and replicate what's in the back, correct?
Exactly.
And that's original stone from the area, my understanding. And you're going to get new stone to try and tie that together?
Yes, so the back has some nice landscaping. It also has a wall that you won't be able to see, but the whole objective is to try to tie the back and the front. And the stone wall is particularly only on the southwest corner so that you can hug the house and just demarc the property better.
Very ambitious project.
So the client is very eager to be as close as possible to net zero. He is installing 27 panels, which we might be able to install a little more, but the whole objective is to keep them on the east side and the south. And also you won't be seeing them from.
So where will the equipment for the solar panels are now all on the roof? Originally, it was proposed, I'll just let the commission know, originally they had a ground mount system that they were thinking about putting in, and we've talked to them and said, look at the roof instead, because obviously we felt that would be a diminishing feature. But where's the equipment going for the solar?
So the panels are going to have microinverters, and so the inverters are actually next to the panels almost.
Okay.
And then it goes to a box in the basement.
So it'll be interior?
Interior, yes. And he's also going to have
Good.
Tesla batteries and also a smart panel. So it's very cool.
Good.
Are there any, I'm sorry.
Sorry. And within the package, there's also some samples of potential materials, but again, it's rustic wood, so it blends, and the stone is natural from the area, and the roof, the shingles are going to be gray, so everything is trying to be kept natural and blending within what's already there.
Are there any questions from any of the commission members? Oh, again, another good presentation. I think the house is going to be very happy.
We hope the client will be very
That
happy.
too. And a lot less happiness. Okay. Cool. Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Motion, Kevin?
Do I hear a second? That motion's on the floor. Any further questions, comments there? No? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the expansion of the garage and living space and the window replacement and alterations, everything as presented for tonight for number 10 Dietz Court?
Janet Morris, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Mike, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any further comments? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Good luck with the project.
Okay. There you go. Now we're up to joint. Yep.
Please, go ahead.
All right, number 7 on the agenda, 53 West Chestnut Street. Is someone here for that? Please, come on up. You'd give us a quick overview of the project, that'd be great, and introduce yourself for the record.
Sure. Manish Shabar, I'm the owner of 53 West Chestnut. I've been the owner for 6 or 7 years now. And the last paint job was done 9 years ago, so it's coming up on its time. And we've already painted the trim white. It was already originally white, so that's been repainted. But the siding is currently light gray, and we want to paint it Nimbus gray, which is a little bit of a bluer gray. And, also the front porch deck is brown, kind of a solid dull brown color, and we want to paint that a stone color, which has a little bit of a grayer tone to it. And that's the extent of the job. Those are the 2 colors, that's right. So the siding would be the top color, and the deck, the stone color.
All right, any member of Historic Landmark Preservation Commission have a question for the applicant? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion that we declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Andrea Pute, so moved.
Thank you, Andrea. Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Eddie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Any questions regarding the project itself? All right, hearing none, let me click in here.
And just so you know, this is going to go through, we have now switched over, so it's going to be historic, and then heritage area is going to follow through, so they're going to approve, and then my team's going to approve, and then you're good. Everyone moving forward, it's a double whammy. So he's going to go for, just so you know,
Whammy's not a good word.
pardon me, we've just switched over so that
Double
it's both,
review.
it's a double review.
All right.
I've done this before, so second time.
I think I remember.
I therefore move that our commission find as fact that the proposed painting at 53 West Chestnut Street in the Chestnut Street Historic District by Manish Habar, if done according to the plans reviewed at the meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in Section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The proposed work is to take place at the 2.5-story colonial revival dwelling on the northwest side of West Chestnut Street, midway between Wells Lane and Orchard Street, that according to the August 14th, 1982 building structure inventory form prepared by Friends of Historic Kingston states, quote, "The property once belonged to Civil War General Henry Sampson, one of the street's first residents. The house was built by Henry S. Crispell and his wife Amelia. Mr. Crispell was then employed by the Van Dusen brothers, wholesale druggists on Strand Street in the Rondout. He later owned his own wholesale drug company and was the son of Dr. Abraham Crispell, whose house stands across the street from this one. Henry Crispell spent his life in these 2 houses. That the proposed paint scheme will be Benjamin Moore Nimbus Gray 2131-50 and the trim will remain white. The street-facing wooden porch, its flooring and stairs will be repainted Benjamin Moore Stone 2112-40. Any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to additional work being carried out. The Commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 4th day of May, 2023, our Commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in his application to the Commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Nettie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Thank you. Moving along.
Do any members of the Heritage Area Commission? Gotcha. Do any members of the Heritage Area Commission have any questions or comments for the applicant? Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
So move, Mike.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
That motion's on the floor. I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to approve the painting of the exterior with the colors presented for number 53 West Chestnut Street?
So move, Nettie Morano.
Do I hear a second?
Janet Moore, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any further questions for the applicant on that? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. All set.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Okay.
Next up is 65 Broadway. Evening.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing great. Glad to see you. Let us know what the plan is here.
Yes, Tyson McCaslin from Timely Signs. We're proposing a new sign for Kingston Wine Company. Does everybody have the drawings for this? Okay. So they're looking to do a double-sided hanging sign. The first page just shows the front of it and some examples of V-carves that we were showing for the client. The second page shows the back and front of the existing sign. Well, it shows the back and front of the sign and where the existing sign is now. And I know that we have to have the client put City of Kingston is additionally insured for the hanging sign over the sidewalk. So a fully painted sign with V-carved graphics.
Right. Does any member of Historic Landmarks have a question for Tyson on this sign? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion that we declare this a type 2 action under seeker.
So
Oh.
moved.
Second, Kevin.
Thank you. That would be Andrea.
Oh, boy.
She was quick.
Very quick.
I didn't even hear her.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Nettie? Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Any discussion on the application itself?
The only comment that staff has, and it's in your notes, these are technically two separate pieces of material, so they're two signs, but we looked at it and we believe that it should be considered one. So it would just be getting that confirmation from the zoning enforcement officer. Your square footage is well under what would be allowed,
Right.
but just, we took it as one sign because they work together as one.
Right, as that's
Yeah.
their physical logo. So
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
So I just have to wait till you get that approval before
Yeah,
we
just,
proceed.
well, he would just take, if he can just sign off on it, that
Yeah,
would
so
be
I
fine.
just wait to put into production until I hear back from you guys. Sounds good.
Right, then I move that the commission find as fact that the proposed installation of a double-sided sign at 65 Broadway in the Rondout Historic District by Timely Signs of Kingston on behalf of Kingston Bottle Shop LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedure stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The proposed work is to take place at the three-story Italianate post-1870 commercial structure that, according to a July 1975 building structure form by Friends of Historic Kingston, states that, quote, "The building retains its original elements, including its storefront, and has received no major modern alterations. It's one of the better examples of the type in the district. That the applicant will install two double-sided blue background with white lettering hanging signs working as a single unit produced by Timely Signs for Kingston Bottle Shop, doing business as Kingston Wine Company. 37 and, that would be 5/8 wide by 10 and an eighth high, 3/4 of an inch thick, with V-carved elements primed and printed to match called out PMS colors. that the applicant should confirm with the city zoning enforcement officer that this is an accurate determination and can operate as a single sign. Total square footage per face is approximately 6 square feet, well below the maximum allowed. That insurance naming the City of Kingston in accordance with Section 358-9 of the City Code will be required prior to installation of the signage, that any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to additional work being carried out. The Commissioner's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding amended findings of fact, I move that on this 4th day of May, 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Any discussion?
One question, did we pick up the 48 inches in the description? I heard the 37 and 5/8, but.
The lower bottom
Yeah,
is longer.
Right, just so that in case,
Yes.
if
I
it's got to go to the
accept
zoning,
your amendment that
right,
the
right.
lower bottle is 48 inches long and the same width. All right.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I blipped.
Okay, we're all good.
All right, I accept that amendment. Is there any discussion of the motion as amended? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion that have I already done that?
You did.
Thank you.
Yes, we got to call for the vote.
All right, so I will call the roll on the question at hand. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie? I also vote in the affirmative. Sorry for the blip.
No, it's okay. And you're reading a lot faster now. I see you're like.
I'm trying to get through. All right.
Can't take me anywhere. Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commission member to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
So move, Mike.
Do I hear a second?
Ronald, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any questions, comments on that? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye. And do I hear a motion to approve the installation of the double-sided sign at 65 Broadway as presented?
Janet Morris, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
That motion's on the floor. Any questions on that one? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie, I vote aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not going anywhere, though. I got another one.
So you're on to the next one?
Yes.
314 Wall Street.
All right. Once again, Tyson from Timely Signs. And we're doing 2 hanging signs for the Pike plan, one underneath the canopy and one facing the road. These follow the height restriction, and we will be telling the client that they need to have the City of Kingston is additionally insured as well. We're doing one single-sided sign and one double-sided sign, painted backgrounds with vinyl graphics, almost. And that's that.
All right. Any questions on this from a member of Historic Landmark Preservation Commission? All right. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker.
So moved, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Do I hear a second?
Second, Nettie Morano.
Thank you, Nettie. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Nettie? Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote aye. All right. Any questions on the underlying application? Hearing none, I move that the commission find as fact that the proposed installation of signage beneath and along the exterior of the Pike plan covering at 314 Wall Street in the Stockade Historic District by Jennifer Lynn Interiors, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedure stipulated by Section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place at the circa 1870s three-story brick commercial building on the eastern side of Wall Street between North Front and John Streets. That Timely Signs seeks to install 2 signs attached to the Pike Plan structure for Jennifer Lynn Interiors, an interior design company. One single-sided 39-inch wide by 14 3/4 inch long, 3/4 inch thick painted PVC panel with white vinyl applied, hung on existing hooks parallel to the street, and one double-sided 60-inch wide and 14-inch high, 3/4 inch thick painted PVC with white vinyl applied, hung on existing hooks beneath the canopy perpendicular to the street. That both signs will be painted Benjamin Moore Hale Navy HC 154 with plotter cut HP white vinyl logo. All hardware will be painted black. Both signs will have a clearance to grade of 8.8 feet, meeting required criteria. That insurance naming the City of Kingston as an additional insured in accordance with Section 358-9 of the City Code will be a requirement of installation. Any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by a commission prior to additional work being carried out. The Commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies based on the preceding findings of fact. I move that on the 4th day of May, 2023, our Commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the Commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Andrea.
Thank you, Andrea. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Nettie? Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commission member to declare this a type 2 action under seeker? Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
That motion's on the floor. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie? Michael?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the installation of one single-sided and one double-sided sign on 314 Wall Street as presented?
So move, Mike.
Do I hear a second?
Janet Mars, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any further comments on that? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie? Aye. Michael?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie. I vote aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Tyson.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
318 Wall Street is up next. Evening, Carol. If you would press the button, turn it green, and give us a quick overview.
Hey, hello. I am Carol Amper, and I bought the building on Wall Street about 12 years ago, and I've done a bunch of interior work, but very little on the exterior of the building. And when the grant came available for the facade money, I applied for that for painting the building to make it a more neutral color. It's pink presently. And also, a lot of the details on the building are very rotted and deteriorated. I'd like to restore those. Those are wood. I'd like to have those restored and the whole building painted. So there are two separate projects that I requested to be reviewed, and I'd like them to be reviewed separately. One is the painting and the other is replacing some windows. The scope of my grant only includes the painting of the buildings. But once I got into it, I realized that if I'm going to replace the windows, which are in bad shape, it would make sense to do that prior to painting, I think. So
You were,
that's why
were
I
you
added
here
the
when we were
windows.
discussing the DAR project on Green Street about the window replacements? Were you in the audience when we were discussing the first application about the window replacements at the DAR building?
Tonight, the very first thing we talked about tonight.
Yeah.
Was I? When we started with yeah, I couldn't hear so well with the other
Okay,
people.
okay. One of the things, and I'm glad that you said separate the projects out because that's kind of what staff has recommended in our comments.
Great.
And the reason for that is just as that project was required, we're going to ask that you do a similar type assessment of the existing windows and the conditions that they're in, and then submit that for the windows piece, but not for the paint.
Okay, so what kind of, as I said, I
We'll
couldn't hear
give you an
that well.
example. Yeah, we'll send something to you as an example of what you're going to need. And we can talk to you, or Ethan can talk to you more.
Okay. I
Okay.
do have additional photos beyond what I submitted
Okay.
regarding the
They
windows.
might suffice, right? Okay.
Okay, so as far as the paint colors, so the base of the building would be a neutral Rockport gray. These are all chosen from Benjamin Moore Historic Colors. It's color 105. That would be the base of the building. I'm not sure if yeah, you're looking at the same thing. Okay, good. It kind of looks more green in this. It's the actual swatch is more gray. It's the top here. And then the next dominant color would be the darker burgundy, which is 61, HC 61. It's the lower color here on the chart. And then the accent colors would be the mauve, which is right above it. And then there's a little bit of other detailing vertically on the building, and I thought to do that in a deeper shade of green, which would be this center color. And I'll put the next to the base, which is this, and the one right under it. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward. It's 4 colors. As I say, we would need to restore the trim
Is
as
the
well,
name,
wooden
do you
trim
plan
on
to
the
have
building.
the name in the same color, the name at the top of the building, Corey? Are you going to highlight that in any way, or is that just going to all be part of the base?
I
Okay.
didn't think that was.
Okay. I was just asking.
I wasn't planning to. I was just going to keep that in the neutral shade.
Okay, any additional questions regarding the paint and wood restoration from a historic landmark commission member? All right. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion that we declare this a type 2 action under seeker.
So moved, Kevin.
Second?
Andrea Putes, so seconded.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie? Aye. I also vote in the affirmative. Okay. And I hereby move that our commission find as fact that the proposed in-kind repair for woodwork and metal flashing, cleaning, brick, and painting in a 4-color scheme at 318 Wall Street in the Stockade Historic District by 318 Wall Street, Kingston, LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in Section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. Partly is there
because of the windows.
I omitted the windows entirely. Should I mention them at this point?
They're in here. It's mentioned down in here that that part is tabled. Yeah.
Okay, All right.
That's the way it's written.
That's why I will go double back and move that the commission find as fact that the proposal for in-kind repair of woodwork and metal flashing, cleaning brick and painting in a four-tone scheme, replacing 8 windows at the second and third story of the Wall Street face of 318 Wall Street in the Stockade Historic District by 318 Wall Street, Kingston, LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is partly compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons: that the proposed work is to take place at the circa 1900 three-story brick commercial building located on the east side of Wall Street, midway between Northfront and John Streets, and that a July 1987 building structure inventory form prepared by Friends of Historic Kingston states that, quote, the building was constructed after the publication of Picturesque Ulster in 1896, since it does not appear in a photograph of Wall Street from that date. The building's cornice has the name Corey at the top, which corresponds with an occupant in 1901, W.H. Corey, Wholesale Tobacco and Cigars. Others in this building in 1901 were F.S. Betts, a dentist, Theodore Spohr, harness maker and dealer, and the Grand Union Tea Company. The latter company was housed in this building until after 1921, along with Costello and Dugan Hardware. By 1930, this large building housed the H.C. Penney Company, along with several apartments under the name Dunham Apartments. J.C. Penney's was here until after 1974, and in 1987, Fitness Unlimited was the current tenant. That the applicant will repaint the exterior of the structure from its present pink and white scheme to a quad scheme based on a palette of Benjamin Moore historic colors: Rockport Gray, HC 105 for the base or body, Great Barrington Green, HC 122, proposed accent color, Somerville Red, HC 62, proposed accent color, and New London Burgundy, HC 61, proposed accent color as shown on renderings. That the proposal to replace 8 1/1 windows on the second and third stories shall be tabled for the applicant to return to the commission with additional written and visual documentation on the existing windows' conditions, age, and operation, along with images and specifications on the proposed replacements and a product sample. Any changes or additions to the plans and or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 4th day of May 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to our commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Nettie. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Nettie? Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative.
Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commission member to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Motion, Kevin.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Mike.
That motion's on the floor. Any further comments on that? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Nettie? Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the in-kind repair of woodwork and metal flashing, the cleaning of the brick and painting in the Benjamin Moore historic colors, the quad tone, which I love, by the way, as presented to 318 Wall Street?
Janet Morris, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Nettie. That motion's on the floor. Any further comment on that? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Nettie? Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, up next is 8 North Front.
It grew on me. When I first bought the building, I thought the first thing I'm going to do is paint it, but it has actually grown on me. So this isn't going to look that different. Yeah. I'm still keeping some mauve accents. So as far as the windows, I just have a question before
Sure.
so I would apply for another hearing on the, how does it work with the
No,
windows? How do I
that
proceed?
portion, it'll be considered part of this application, so you don't need to reapply. It will just be getting us supplemental information. So
Okay.
your application is continued forward on that aspect. That part was tabled, but the painting is approved.
Is approved. So
Yep.
I can proceed with painting
Yes.
even without the windows?
Exactly.
Okay. And for the other information and things that I need to gather to...
We'll get that to, we'll send you a list of what you need to get us.
Perfect.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate
you.
it.
8 North Front. Stunning. You sent Don home.
Yeah, Don asked me to act on his behalf, so I'm doing so. Yeah, he saw how the agenda was looking. I said, I'll take care of it. I'm right there. Did you guys get photos of what he was trying to do here? Okay, he made me a couple of packets if anybody else wants to. I'm not sure if you have these, but send along. I need one for myself, just about, but I have one additional one if anybody else wants that. So Tyson McHaslin on behalf of Senate Garage and Co-work Kingston. If you flip to the second page, they're proposing, these are actually 5 foot by 5 foot. I think the agenda says 4 foot by 5 foot, but he's hoping for the 5 foot by 5 foot as these are squares. And what they're looking to do is put temporary signs. We make these out of like a coroplast material with grommets in the corners, so that way they can take them off and then replace them later on. The other pages I know it's kind of hard to tell where this is in the building because I had no idea myself. If you go to the next photo, it actually shows a satellite to show which elevation those windows are actually representing. The last page doesn't really have much help, although it is a pretty cool photo because I didn't realize there was a building there with that much signage on there, believe it or not. But that was an interesting photo that I thought he included there. So again, 2 5 foot by 5 foot coroplast signs are looking to put out in the building.
How are they going to be adhered?
So we were to have grommets in the 4 corners of these signs, and then we're going to put screws in the corners, like put wall anchors in the grout line on the actual bricks. That way it's not going into the brick, it's going to the grout line, and then that way they can get unscrewed and other ones put up there.
Okay. And I had sent Don an email to check with the zoning department, only because you're calling them temporary signs.
Right.
Temporary signs are limited in number to 1 and time frames. So he was going to check on that, and do you know if he didn't say anything about that?
He did not. I actually just found out I was representing at like 4 o'clock today.
Okay.
So I kind of was scrambling to actually get some information as to what I was supposed to be representing here.
Okay.
But so bottom line though, it would only be allowed 1 if he does get approval. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he would
have
have
to pass it along
yep.
to him, no problem. And
Yeah, he would have to. Yeah, he'd have to apply for a variance.
okay,
Yeah.
excellent idea. Thank you. And do you know if there's is it a recurring fee every time he wants to change this? Is that how that works with the city of Kingston, or is there no, like once this application is complete, is that it? Like if he wants to change the sign later on to a different, if I think he's just advertising now, is saying why should you co-work Kingston? I'm guessing he's going to have a different message, let's say in 6 months or something there. Is he allowed to just change that? Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. Obviously, as long as, the lighting, the material doesn't change, that kind of thing.
Right, then there's
and
no
it
idea of that
stays-
happening.
yeah.
Or yeah, okay,
Size, same, yeah.
got it.
And coloring. He would have to pick a color scheme.
Yeah, I'm sure. So they have like their design guidelines. This is how they lay out all of their signs. So it would look similar to this, just obviously different content, and we don't know what that content would be at that point.
I don't have an issue.
Okay, excellent.
Not set up to regulate content, First Amendment, and all of that.
Yeah, well, they do pretty good if you ask me. Anyway, they have nice stuff there. So. So if he changes the sign, it's under the same time
If he changes, he still needs a variance for the number.
Right, absolutely.
So I would say, yeah, I mean, he would have to go back and get a permit after permit after permit if he changed it, and it would only be 30 days. He can only leave something up 30 days. So I'm assuming he's not spending this money to leave it up only for that short time period, that
Right,
he
right.
wants to leave it for a longer period. So I would say the variance is something he would ask for.
Right, so that way he could get approved for how he's looking to have it actually
Right,
be
yeah.
done. I got it. That makes sense. From a HLPC, HAC standpoint, though, I think that's the point. He wants to kind of get your guys' blessings, make sure there's not going to be any issues with historical or anything like that.
Right, our approval is likely to be subject to relevant coordinating agencies.
Understood?
Listed in there.
I was happy to see that. Any additional questions for Tyson? All right, I'll entertain a motion that we declare this type 2 action under State Environmental Quality Review Act.
So moved.
Thank you, Kevin. Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Nettie? Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote aye. All right. I hereby move that our commission find as fact that the proposed installation of 3, quote, temporary, close quote, signs at 8 North Front Street on the Fair Street side of the building in the Stockade Historic District by Don Tallerman, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in Section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The proposed work is to take place at the circa 1920s two-story commercial building with a tapestry brick front and common brick sides located at the northeastern side of North Front Street and adjacent to the Senate House, and that a July 1987 building structure inventory form from Friends of Historic Kingston stated that, quote, the building was constructed during the 1920s as Van Cleek Motors and Garage, Inc., one of the first car dealerships to appear in the Stockade District during the period. Along with a few others along Clinton Avenue, this type of use was concentrated in the northeast area of the district. By 1950, the building housed the Ertel Engineering Corporation, a use which was listed as the 1986 occupant. The applicant shall install 3 4-by-5-foot temporary signs on the Fair Street side of the Senate Garage building produced by Timely Signs.
I think that's a misprint. I think it's supposed to only be 2 from what's the proposal is showing here.
You also said 5 by 5.
Yeah, 5-by-5 and 2 is what they're
Thank you
looking for.
for that correction.
I didn't catch the quantity, I caught the size there.
Okay, so 2
5 by
5-foot
5.
by 5-foot. Yep. All right, I accept the amendment. Thank you. On the Fair Street side of the Senate Garage building produced by Timely Signs, which will be mounted between the central windows on the ground floor. Each sign will have a black background with white and orange text detailing Co-work Kingston's working space. One sign will have imagery. The owner will confirm the compliance of temporary signage installation with the zoning enforcement officer, that any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to any additional work being carried out. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 4th day of May 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein, and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Nettie Morano.
Thank you, Nettie. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Nettie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote aye.
Mark?
Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commission member to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
So moved, Kevin.
Do I hear a second?
Our second.
That motion's on the floor. Any further comment? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie? And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. And do I hear a motion to approve the installation of 2 5-foot by 5-foot quote-unquote temporary signs on the structure facing Fair Street at 8 North Front Street as presented tonight?
So move, Mike.
Do I hear a second?
Our second.
That motion's on the floor. Any further comments on that? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie? Michael?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you,
Thank
everybody. And Mark,
you.
I really like the historical facts that you're putting out for these properties now. That's really interesting. So,
Thank Ethan over here.
Ethan, thank you very much. That is, I love learning about stuff like that. So I think it's important to keep saying that, or to keep bringing that to the attention of everybody. So, thank you again.
Yeah, you can take your time reading those parts. You can
Yes,
speed up everything
yes.
else.
Thank.
You're issuing a challenge.
Tell us a story.
Yes, thank you again, everybody. Have a good night.
Have a great evening. All right, 35 Wirtz Street is up next. Good evening. If you could introduce yourself and give us an overview.
Hi.
Ooh, look at this, oh my.
Hi, everybody.
Oh,
I'm the owner of this thing now.
pass it, take one, pass
This
one.
is roof, that's windows.
Yeah. That's,
This is,
this is updated stuff he just submitted today. So there's
Okay.
copies for everybody of the updated stuff going around.
Great. Give us a chance to distribute for a sec.
sure, of course. I think they're this, oh, okay.
Good. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm Tom Kruger, and I am the new owner of this lovely property at 35 Word Street. And I'm really looking forward to bringing it back to life. It's been pretty much abandoned for the last 20 years and is kind of imploding. And so it's my duty and honor to restore it as best I can. There's a lot of things to talk about, just even that's based on the stuff that you guys are going to be concerned with. And I know that we're not going to get to all that tonight. I just am glad to introduce it, and I'll be back here, I'm sure, again and maybe again. But it was very informative. Just the windows. I mean, I am looking at very, very messed up windows, and I've had some people come to look at either the restoration or replacement of them. And so I will proceed as you have told the other people to do so, and get experts to go through that. So I've heard some names floating around that you had suggested. I heard a name like Emily Major, for example, and you can get me a list of people like that, that'd be great. The one thing that I'd like to get started with right off the bat is just the repair of the roof. The roof is it's leaking. It hasn't been repaired in 20 years, it hasn't been lived in. So it's a mess. I had Chris Farrell, who's in fact the only slate roofer that I could find in the area, come and he climbed up and examined it and said that the roof was toast and that I could not. It's 150 years old and it has to be replaced, and he won't do it. He's retired now, and he won't do it. So, and he suggested this product, which is an EcoStar synthetic slate. So I'm looking into that, but again, I'll go through all the proper motions that you refer me to. There are some really nice, things that I've found, and I've looked for everyone. I would welcome any names, and I spoke to the Friends of Historic Kingston, and Jane referred me to Superior Roofing, the only recommendation she had, and they are going to come look at it, but they're not very optimistic about them being able to do it. So I'll keep going. I'd love to hear more suggestions, and I will take them. I'd love it to be slate too, but I'm having a very hard time.
Right. I know Ethan has been looking to try and get another name from another party. They did a very similar roof on Linderman Avenue, and they used slate, and they have the same flower design in their
Okay.
mansard roof. And it
Great.
actually looks it looks beautiful. It's all done. And
Okay.
so we're trying to get you the name of the individual that actually did the contracted work,
Okay.
and they sourced their material out of Vermont, I
Yeah.
believe it was.
Yeah.
So,
I'm anticipating that. So I hope to do that. I know it's going to be like half of my budget really, but I'm prepared to do whatever it takes and within, my means and whatever. We'll carry on. However, I need to arrest the deterioration as soon as possible. And I also intend to rebuild all the soffits and fascia. That has to be done. It's all rotted out, so it all has to go. And so I'd love to get started on that. I'll have plenty of time to come back and present further, material, and we can carry on as you consult with me. But that aspect of it is something I feel like I'd like to get approval for so that I can just start doing it. The one thing that I've been told over and over again by roofers as they come and look at it is that style of box gutter is very problematic. And the same reason that it's rotting out now is why it's going to rot out again. So I'm exploring together the idea that I could come up with some sort of a high-end design that would transfer the rain catchment into the what are they called? The the crown type moldings. So it would appear exactly the same, but instead of the gutter coming out of the box gutter, it would come like 6 inches over out of the crown's part of the thing, and it would just be an improvement and visually equivalent, just a movement of 6 inches. I don't think that you look.
well, I'm just wondering, do you have an example of where that is now currently used?
No, but I'll get it.
Okay, I'm
I'll
just
get
curious.
that.
Yeah, like appearance-wise, I know visually, I'd like to see how that
Sure.
would look. Yeah.
Okay, and is that something that I can, as I said, I'm wanting to and trying to get started soon, is that detail, there's so much that has to be done, pulling it all down, repairing all the rot, rebuilding it, and I think that I could still, because it's going to look the same, all the corbels, everything will be wood and replaced as is. And so I just think that that I can present to you what that would look like, and they would be all custom made and resemble exactly the same profile as these.
Right.
So I'll present that, and you can decide.
Yeah, I would have no problem with the commission issuing that approval, and then he can submit the actual detail to us at staff level, if you're comfortable with that. If they're replicating, the components, and obviously you can see from the photographs, there is an extensive amount of rot and deterioration. So I don't know, some of those might be restorable, but a lot of them are probably irreparable.
And what I'm talking about is you can see the sort of
Right.
crown molding that's on the edge. That would then just become the gutter, and I would want to maintain the exact profile. It would be painted, and it would just be the gutter there, made out of galvanized metal as opposed to a wood. So I'm only exploring it because every one of the roofers that came said, ugh, they looked at that and they said, that was a flawed design. And that I will again be looking at the same repair over and over again. So I obviously it's going to be a big one and I don't want to have to keep doing it. So thank you. If that's okay, I'll present it, details and.
I mean, it's up to the commission.
Sure, of
so-
course. I know. I'm learning. And I've also, I own a house at the top of the Platte Clove that I restored. It was imploding like this, and it was, literally, it was a foot lower in the middle than on the sides, built in 1853, and it's beautiful and perfect. And I mean, you would be proud of that work as well. So it's really nice.
Do you do a lot of the work yourself?
I do.
Okay.
I have a couple, people that help me with the stuff that I can do, and then I just hire subs to do the bigger lifting. And there's all these other projects in here. There's the driveway. I mean, as you can see, there's the windows. There's where I will put utilities. They're going to have to put the gas meter somewhere. It doesn't exist right now. These are all outlaid in this thing. And again, the whole front stairs is gone, but Ethan provided me with a photograph that was very helpful just to say, oh, okay, that's what it was. And that's what we like to do is replace that as it existed at least in 76. But you can see in that photograph that the balustrades are not really that interesting. It's just like square 2x2s or something. And then you can see in another submission that I think you should have. What I just like to make it Second Empire again, something that feels a little bit more of the era. I'm sure that's probably a replacement too. That's still 100 years later.
Yeah, and we expected a parsonage that they were being parsimonious, so they would be looking for simplicity as part of the Methodist Church in general.
Okay. That's good to consider.
The synthetic slate roof is pretty nice.
I mean, that's what was a slate person in Kingston who does it. I'm not looking forward actually to doing a synthetic slate roof. I wouldn't choose it, but it's been, I have really been trying to find somebody who can do the slate work. And
I just emailed you a contact that Scott forwarded to me of a slate roofing contractor. So
great. Thank you.
We'll forward that off.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, I would love to, I was sorry to hear that all the slate, according to Chris Farrell, is not usable anymore. So that's going to be it's going to be a big one. And then Ethan pointed out that there are those stars that are present in there. I didn't see them until you pointed them out. I didn't realize that. There is, and you mentioned we really would like to keep it the same as the church. And so what's included there is what the church has. And so I would even aspire to do that, so it really does match the church. That's what I would like to do, is to make it match the church. But even this element of the scope of work is something that I won't be getting to in the next month. So or not anytime really soon, but preparing it is about to happen, and at least probably even putting up some kind of tar paper, whatever the underlayment would be, at least to keep the rain out and get all the other work done until we can really find the right solution for this.
They say we give him the go-ahead for the work that he can do, and maybe he could start tonight, because it looks like...
Yeah. Wait till you see the inside. It's pretty trashed, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't intend to throw it away, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Are you looking for approval on any other woodwork, on the porch perhaps, or do you want to?
I mean, the porch is included in the work that has to be, that roof also is, I don't know, we haven't fully determined whether the existing roof needs to be totally replaced, of the porch. If it did, I would do it exactly as it exists. I wouldn't change it at all. The only thing I would change would be, if possible, I would like to change the balustrade to be something what I think is more interesting.
Okay, then I'd ask that you, when you're coming back, include whatever details you're interested in there, a color, a drawing or mock-up of the design you.
I did put in there, I don't know if it's in there now, but there's an example of what I liked, but I will get more specific.
That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Any other questions for the applicant from an HLPC member? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion that we declare this a type 2 action under seeker.
So moved, Andrea Putes.
A second?
Kevin, second.
Thank you, Kevin. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie? I also vote in the affirmative. Okay. So I move that the commission find as fact that the proposed restoration of the soffits, fascia, wooden box gutters, and slate roof at 35 Wirt Street in the Rondout Historic District by Thomas Kruger or Kreuger?
Kruger.
Kruger, thank you. If done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in Section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place at the two-story brick Second Empire dwelling dating between 1858 and 1870 that stands adjacent to Trinity Methodist Church at the corner of Wirtz and Hunter Street, which the October 21st, 1971 building structure and inventory form prepared by Friends of Historic Kingston states, quote, was the parsonage for the neighboring Methodist church. The residence retains its original decorative features and has received no major modern alterations. It is one of the most intact and important structures of its type and style in the district. That the applicant shall restore in kind the original soffits and fascia and rebuild in kind the box gutter system with the possible amendment of a change in downspout. That the applicant will continue to research the slate mansard roof that displays a decorative floral design that matches a similar design on the neighboring church. That the applicant will return to the commission for review of subsequent phases of his restoration of 35 Wirt Street. Any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be further to subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. Sorry, Andrea, slowed down. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. And based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 4th day of May 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein in his application to the commission. Such a notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also aye. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commission member to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
So moved, Kevin.
Do I hear a second?
Nettie Morano, second.
That motion's on the floor. Any further comments on that? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie? And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve, pardon me, the restoration and replacement of the slate roof, restoring of the soffits and the fascias according to the plans we reviewed tonight for 35 Wirt Street?
So move, Mike.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin?
That motion's on the floor. Any further comments on that one? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll
And
see
thank you
all-
for all the work that
see
you
you
did.
soon.
Yes, good luck.
The house is going to take a deep breath as soon as you put a...
Kevin?
Thank you so much. I was indicating I was trying to speed up, and my tongue couldn't do it.
No, no. It's first.
All right. I do what I can. All right, 126, 128 Hudson Street.
Good, doesn't it? Yeah. Get this out of the way.
Right.
Too many.
Hi there. If you would give us a quick overview. Hi, Jim.
Hey, how are you? I'm Jim Fish of Lodge Architecture and Building Science. This is Andy Monk, my client. We're here to get approval for 126, 128. What street is it? Hudson Street? Fine, whatever. Yeah, it has.
It's my backyard, I know where it is.
So I put this forward into the building department, neglecting the fact that it is in the Heritage District, so apologies. They caught it in building, and so here we are. I'm really proud of this little house. I want to share it with you. So Andy already has a house at 138 Hudson. Hudson, right where you come off of Beale Street if you're coming in from the west, and you go up the hill on that street. Warren, what's the name of the street again? And so he owns two pieces of property, and he has asked to put a smaller home on the smaller parcel as you go up the hill. So that's what we worked on. Did you take photos? Okay, good. So that's Andy's house. The lot, it's its own parcel. It is up the hill to the left of this house where there's a fence. I did provide a few photos, but I knew that you were going to take some anyway. So it is it's only a 600 square foot footprint, and it's at the top of a hill overlooking, is that Block Park? And so we decided to do carriage house style and a little deck off to the side with parking underneath. And we wanted it to be very simple. You know, a lot of designers are doing black and white. We like the white siding, so we're going to do a white board and batten vinyl siding. But Andy wanted to have a really nice metal, pre-finished metal roof. So instead of black or gunmetal or gray, we're going to do a dark bronze. Andy's current house is a light tan color, and we have some poured-in-place concrete and some insulated concrete forms with some parging, and we have this cedar deck. So we thought that if we had the neutral of the cedar, which is a little warmer, the concrete, which can sometimes be a little warmer, we wanted the windows and the roof to be this dark bronze color. So really our colors are very simple: white, dark bronze, cedar, concrete. I did a couple renderings just to see. Okay. Oh, you got stuff up there too. So we have the site plan. I did a little rendering here. So when you're coming up, when you're coming down the street, you're going to see the side first. And so we moved we put the front door, it's still in the front of the house, but it's, you know, the front side of the house. So it's tucked under where the parking is, where the cedar fencing is there.
And then we popped up a little dormer, and these two doors are both at landings. So when you enter this door, you can go down half a story to his lower level where the bedrooms are, or up half a story to where his living space is. And then if you go up again, you get out to the little deck, or up another half flight of stairs up to his little, well, actually, it doesn't go over there, up to the little loft upstairs. So we have windows that go all the way through, but there's no third floor situation like we've had, like I had recently at another project where we had to add sprinklers. So we put all the windows on the view side, overlooking the Rondout Creek. Two doors coming out of the bedrooms, living room, dining room, and this is up in the rafters. Do you have anything to add? All right. You designed it. You helped. Do I have any questions?
I think one of my biggest concerns with the design, I mean, I like the design. I'm not happy that the street front looks the way it does. To me, it does not have a street front. And I know, you're designing it not only to work with the grade and the positioning, but I want to see something from a street point of view that looks more appealing. To me, I'm not seeing that. I'm really, not crazy about that.
I appreciate that. I will admit that the 2D view is a little misleading, in that if you were able to see it coming up the hill, you would see windows and skylights and solar, and it wouldn't be about as much to me about the front, the side that faces the street. It's more about your experience as you're approaching it on either side, and that you can see more than just this. We did have a window here.
I
think
also
going to do some landscaping in front of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it were set back maybe a lot more on the property, I'd have a different opinion, but it's very close to the street. So I think it's going to be, to me, very noticeable. Just like your house, your current house, is sitting there and it has a nice street face to it. I think this one should be complimentary. That's my thought. I don't know.
Just along those lines, if I were on Hudson Street, which of these am I hitting coming up the hill and down the hill? Which facade will be?
Up the hill, then passing the house, and then you would see this as you're approaching the hill coming down. There is a deck here. It was taken out, removed for clarity, so you could see the siding. But there's a railing that goes along the front. The front and the side are cedar, and then the back is a rail for the more of a wire rail, so you can get the view. I did bring a. Can you hold that for a second? Thanks. I did bring an idea of what the railing would be the railing in the front for privacy, but then as it goes to the back, it becomes a view rail. Did that answer you okay, Mark?
Trying to orient myself to what one would see just passing through. And also, how much of this would be hidden by the existing structure, say, as you were coming up the hill? It's hard for me to just visualize that. Can you give me a sense?
At some point you'd see this whole face as you pass the structure, but of course it would be obscured by the existing house for a minute as you're coming up the hill. Coming down the hill, there are a lot of trees over here, so you're going to see that side of the building a good amount, but when there are leaves on the trees, a little bit less.
Looks like a tricky engineering problem.
Oh, the hill?
Yeah. The hill.
There is a hill.
And I don't know, is this going to change, does the ground contour have to change to support it? Does it need to be reinforced differently? This is not our normal kind of question, but you're in a pretty tight spot, it sure seems.
And we've looked at different building shape sizes, orientations to try to avoid being on the hill. You can see that this is the dash line is the line of where it becomes the steepest. So that's another reason why we're going to planning to try to see how close we can get to the front building line, because there is no setback for this district.
I think you do need a side yard setback. You will need a variance. Side yard setback. It's 0 or 6 on the side. Mm-hmm.
I'm a little confused about 0 or 6.
You either build on the property line at 0 setback and it's a fire rated non-combustible wall, or you build 6 feet back off the property line. That's the way the code is in that area. Yeah.
I did have that in the code, and I didn't truly understand it. So we are going to planning. The size of the property is a little undersized. It's under 5,000 square feet, and we only have 1 parking spot, so we're looking for a variance for that. I mean, you do have 3 over here already, but that's where we are. Should I go back to the renderings? I just want to make sure everyone's thoughts are out.
I don't know. I would make one comment too, although it's not current, the new form-based code, if you look at that, would not allow this, because it really focuses on the form of the structure in context with the neighborhood, and it speaks very strongly to the streetscape design. So just a point.
I do tend to share that sentiment with, if it had maybe another window or 2, I think on the first floor of your front street face, that might help a little bit. Can you talk to me a little bit about why the top windows are asymmetric from the center? Of course.
The truth is, the front facade and the back facade, I wanted it to be balanced but not necessarily symmetrical. And I did start off with the windows in the middle, but we have a huge ridge beam running through the house, and truthfully, part of it was an attempt to avoid a whole bunch of headers going down to bring this point load down to the foundation. It's part of the reason why this window is gone too, is trying to bring that load straight down to the ground. You can see that this one misses it too. See how it misses down to the foundation. Yep. Saved you a couple $1,000, I guess.
Thank you.
Well, but we have to get it through. We have to get it through.
Any other questions for the applicant, comments? My concern, yeah.
This is going to the planning board, so it's on our agenda for the 15th. The planning board will be looking more at site-related At this point, right now, again, until the form-based code comes into play, they're not looking at the architectural elements. That will come in the future. But right now, they'll be looking at the stormwater, the utility connections. They'll be making sure the grading, checking engineering and the designs. And they'll be looking at it for zoning compliance, things of that nature, more so than the visual. Your job is more so the visual aspects. So I don't know what your thoughts are as commission members, but that's up to you.
Do something just to the exterior, that wall, I mean, maybe it doesn't involve the structure, but can dress up that wall.
What's missing is that I was going to plant, because I agree, it's like a big blank wall, right? I was going to plant a bunch of trees that would come up and kind of make it feel like a smaller building, less of like an overwhelming presence on the street, because it is going to be quite close to the street as well. But I don't know if that's sufficient. I can't remember what's behind this wall. I mean, we could pop another window in there, I guess, but I'm not made of money, so I might not be able to afford it.
I think seeing that, if you could render that, having a little bit of landscaping in the front, that would, I think, do a lot of us a lot of good.
I'm not kidding. I would love to get this.
Something nice. Yeah, I wasn't just going to leave it like this.
I'll admit it looks very, abrupt, but,
I think if you could, do more of a visual schematic and put this building into context with the existing structures, showing, like doing a simulation of the street and putting this building on the street so that we could see what it would look like coming up the street. And that, I think, that might, I don't know. And you can throw the landscaping in then. But
To be
I
fair,
still think, I really think it needs a little bit of something other than a few shrubs.
to be fair, the context of the structure is forested.
Huh?
The context of the structure is forested. Yeah, to the one side. It's.
I understand that.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Yeah.
The irony I thought was sort of funny.
Yeah.
My plan was greenery because I think it's going to be nice to blend the building into the thing. But an idea that just popped into my head is like if we slap a fake garage door on there, is that better for you guys?
Gee,
Like, it won't be usable, but like a carriage style, I want it to look like a carriage house anyway, so like a carriage style door.
That might work.
Weirdly.
We're all like, huh.
It's hard to visualize, though. It's hard for me to just kind of imagine and say, oh, yeah, that's the answer.
I was going to say a model or a 3D rendering would have been helpful to be able to do the visual of.
Yeah, it's trying to do a lot right on a tiny little parcel. I'm also somewhat concerned that the planning board may make you shift something that might be important here, too. And so my thought would be to ask you to say hi to the folks at the planning board and come back to us with a proposal. I'm actually really intrigued by the idea of a garage door there because I would never have thought of it, but as soon as you mentioned it, I thought, well, it might really work.
Then you wouldn't plant plants in front of it because that would be insane. But
yeah.
No, but you could do it to the one side.
But it would be
and you could center
strong
the garage door
visual
under the window.
orientation.
If it's a carriage house,
I think that's what he was
Yeah.
going
Yeah, that's what I
for.
meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure we want to, yeah, but, I mean, I'm sorry to kind of send you back to the drawing board with a couple of ideas, but I would, if we vote on this tonight, I wouldn't be able to say, yep, I love this. I would ask you to give it a once-over, Jim, and I like both of the ideas, perhaps because of the setting, perhaps a planting kind of arrangement, but if I'm visualizing this correct, you don't have a lot of room to deal with supporting dense planting. So I'm not sure which it would be better, but I do agree that a blank wall is a tough one for the rest of the city to look at for X number of years.
Possibly even a decorative kind of design trellis that would just break up that wall.
Solid wall. That would be a kindness, I think, that we would appreciate if you would be willing. All right. I'm therefore going to move that we table this till next month's meeting and ask that you come back with an alternative that you can live with, or maybe a couple of choices for us. And also let us know if the planning board is triggering any changes in design that we need to consider, because you're doing a lot in a little spot. Yes, please.
Heritage can still approve it, right? I'm sorry, that was supposed to be a joke. Because this isn't Landmarks, this is Heritage, right? Landmarks is just working as a, but Landmarks is just acting as a advisor, so Heritage actually could.
Right, I think you are not
still.
literally in the Rondout district, you're just in the Rondout neighborhood. So we get a say, but they get the final determination. Every so often that happens.
I was surprised when I learned I had to come before this commission, because my neighborhood I love, but it's not fancy.
Oh, but it's beautiful.
Okay, you need a second.
One day.
Do I have a second to my motion to table?
Second, Andrew Putes.
Discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Nettie? Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you. Over to you.
I'm not even green this whole time. Fire the cheap help. Does anyone else in the Heritage Area Commission have a comment or question?
No, we just need that side of the wall with something on it.
So is it a secondary I mean, can we get by with a type 2 action under seeker and saying that we like what we see, but we need green space on the side or a visual on the side? Or is it a continued table?
At the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a little bit more visual. Like, same thing, I feel like we're this close, but do I hear, I'd like to make a motion to table this to next month's meeting to get a little bit more visual aid to help us approve what you have. Do I hear a second?
Second, Nettie Morano.
Any other, I guess no other comments. I'm going to do the roll. Michael?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye.
So thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks. I was looking forward to hearing your spiel about the, I'll get it next time.
Yeah. Next time.
I listened to all of the other ones. I don't get one. I'll come back next one. You know what? I'm going to think about that.
All right, thank you.
Do I hear a motion from the Heritage Area Commission to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion from an HLPC member to?
Second, I'll second. I'll
Second, Kevin.
All right, I'm going to let you call the roll.
Michael.
Aye.
Janet.
Aye.
Nettie. Kevin.
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Yes. Do I hear a second?
Second,
To
Andrea.
adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Nettie.
Adjourning.
Adjourning.
Aye.
All right, Robert.
Aye.
Andrea. I also vote in the affirmative by acclamation. We stand adjourned.